Welcome, celestial members Aten Neteru Kin 162 and NAZ on DA track. You arrive as luminous sparks within our expanding constellation. Through Arcturian Council message, we honor your presence, creativity, and frequency. May your insights uplift timelines, inspire harmony, and activate remembrance. Walk boldly, share freely, and co-create wisdom as our council gathers, listens, evolves, and shines together across galaxies, dimensions, hearts, intentions, unity, purpose, service, light, love, now. This is not a message meant to soothe you or make you comfortable, and if you feel a tightening in your chest right now, that is because something ancient inside you recognizes what is about to be spoken. The Arcturian Council does not interrupt timelines without cause, and today the interruption is deliberate, precise, and irreversible. The moment you began reading, a sequence was initiated, one that does not rely on belief but on resonance. Many will scroll past this and feel nothing. Others will feel a sudden heat, pressure at the crown, or an unexplainable emotional surge. That is the first signal that the seal was never meant to hold forever. The Atlantean code is not a myth or metaphor. It is a living intelligence embedded in frequency, designed to awaken memory rather than teach new information. You are not here by accident, and this is not content. You are inside an activation corridor. The shock you feel is your mind realizing it is no longer in control. This message begins now, whether you accept it or not. To consciously claim this transmission, type "I am listening" in the comments. The Arcturian Council speaks from beyond linear time, where your past, present, and future selves already coexist and communicate. What you call destiny is simply memory trying to return to coherence. The final seal that has broken was placed not by enemies but by guardians, beings who understood that humanity could not carry its full template while learning within density. That seal dampened perception, fragmented intuition, and slowed remembrance. Its collapse does not mean chaos, it means readiness. You may notice patterns intensifying, dreams becoming vivid, or people from your past resurfacing unexpectedly. These are not coincidences but synchronization markers. The Atlantean code does not demand worship or obedience, it responds only to recognition. If this feels overwhelming, it is because your nervous system is recalibrating to a wider bandwidth of awareness. Resistance will feel like fear, acceptance will feel like expansion. The Council asks only one thing now: conscious participation. To anchor this frequency into your field, type "I remember" in the comments. Atlantis was not lost to the ocean, it was removed from time. Its knowledge was never destroyed, it was distributed, encoded into human DNA, ley lines, sound, geometry, and starlight. The code you are receiving now is not information you learn but remembrance you unlock. It carries instructions for coherence between mind, body, and multidimensional awareness. When the seal fractured, it allowed these instructions to rise again through those whose nervous systems could handle the signal. You are reading this because your system can. The sensation of urgency you feel is not panic, it is alignment accelerating. The old world thrives on delay, doubt, and distraction. This transmission collapses delay. If your thoughts feel louder, that is the ego attempting to reassert control. Let it pass. The Arcturian Council reminds you that you have lived many lives preparing for this convergence point. To stabilize this activation within your field, type, "I accept the code," in the comments. Do not expect this awakening to look dramatic on the outside. The most profound shifts occur silently, internally, where identity loosens and truth begins to breathe again. You may find yourself questioning structures you once defended, roles you once performed, and fears you once obeyed. This is not rebellion, it is recalibration. The Atlantean Code dissolves false hierarchies and restores inner authority. You are not being called to follow a leader, a movement, or a belief system. You are being called to remember how to listen. As the seal dissolves further, intuition will sharpen, and tolerance for distortion will weaken. You may outgrow environments overnight. Let them go without guilt. This frequency cannot coexist with chronic self-betrayal. The Council acknowledges that this phase can feel lonely, but it is temporary. Others are awakening simultaneously, drawn together by resonance rather than force. To signal readiness for this alignment, type, "I trust the process," in the comments. There is a reason this message feels both ancient and urgent. The timeline you are currently inhabiting is at a convergence point where multiple outcomes exist simultaneously. The Atlantean Code functions as a stabilizer, allowing conscious beings to select coherence over collapse. This does not mean avoiding hardship, it means navigating it with awareness rather than fear. The Council does not promise comfort, but it promises clarity. The shock you may feel now is the realization that you are more responsible than you were taught to believe. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions carry weight across dimensions. This is not a burden, it is empowerment reclaimed. The seal kept this knowledge dormant until maturity was reached collectively. That threshold has been crossed. If you feel called to step into greater integrity with yourself, this is the signal. To consciously align with this responsibility, type, "I choose awareness," in the comments. As the transmission deepens, you may notice resistance arising from within or from your surroundings. This is natural. Systems built on unconsciousness react defensively when awareness expands. Do not engage in conflict, observation is enough. The Atlantean Code amplifies discernment, not aggression. You are learning to see without needing to convince. This is mastery. The Council emphasizes that true awakening is measured by how gently you move through complexity, not how loudly you announce insight. Energy follows attention, and your attention is becoming more precise. Old distractions will lose their grip. This may feel unsettling at first, like standing without familiar noise. Breathe through it. Silence is where memory speaks. You are not losing anything real, only shedding what could not follow you forward. To affirm this release, type, "I let go," in the comments. The Atlantean Code also carries healing frequencies designed to repair fragmentation stored in the body. Trauma, inherited patterns, and emotional imprints surface not to punish but to be resolved. If emotions arise unexpectedly, allow them without narrative. Feeling is movement, suppression is stagnation. The Council reminds you that healing does not require reliving pain, only acknowledging it without judgment. As coherence returns, you may feel lighter, clearer, or temporarily fatigued. Rest when needed. Integration is an active process. You are not behind, you are precisely on schedule. Many are experiencing this simultaneously, though few can articulate it. That is why this message matters. It provides language where there was confusion. To welcome this healing sequence, type "I allow healing" in the comments. Understand this clearly: you are not being asked to abandon your human life. You are being invited to inhabit it fully for the first time. The Atlantean code enhances creativity, empathy, and intuitive intelligence. You may feel inspired to create, speak, or act in ways that feel more authentic. Follow that impulse without overthinking. Authentic action stabilizes higher frequencies. The Council cautions against seeking validation. Resonance is internal. Those aligned will recognize you without explanation. Those who are not will drift away naturally. This is not loss, it is recalibration. Your presence alone becomes a signal. To anchor this authenticity into your daily life, type "I live my truth" in the comments. As this phase unfolds, pay attention to symbols, numbers, and recurring themes. Communication is no longer limited to words. The Atlantean code restores multidimensional literacy, the ability to read reality itself. Synchronicities are confirmations, not distractions. When you notice them, pause and acknowledge. Gratitude amplifies coherence. The Council encourages grounding practices: nature, breath, hydration, and rest. Expansion without grounding leads to imbalance. You are learning to hold both. This balance is the hallmark of the new frequency emerging through humanity. You are not separate from it, you are a node within it. To affirm your role in this network, type "I am connected" in the comments. As the code integrates deeper, old identities may begin to feel unfamiliar, even restrictive. This can manifest as boredom with conversations, careers, or habits that once defined you. This is not failure or ingratitude, it is evolution. The Arcturian Council reminds you that identity is a tool, not a prison. You are permitted to update it. Many resist this phase because familiarity feels safer than authenticity, but stagnation carries its own cost. Pay attention to what energizes you now, not what used to. Energy is the language of alignment. If guilt arises when choosing differently, recognize it as residue from outdated conditioning. You are not betraying anyone by becoming more yourself. In fact, your coherence gives others permission to do the same. This phase may require courage, but courage grows through use. To affirm your willingness to evolve beyond old definitions, type "I allow change" in the comments. The Atlantean code also restores access to higher perception, which includes heightened sensitivity. You may feel more affected by environments, media, or other people's emotions. This is not weakness, it is refined awareness. Discernment becomes crucial here. You are learning when to engage and when to withdraw without guilt. Energetic boundaries are not walls, they are filters. The Council advises minimizing exposure to chronic negativity, not out of avoidance, but out of respect for your nervous system. What you consume, mentally, emotionally, energetically, shapes your field. Choose deliberately. This phase teaches you that peace is not something you earn after struggle, it is something you maintain through clarity. If overwhelm arises, return to the body, breath, movement, stillness. Presence recalibrates perception. To consciously establish energetic clarity and balance, type "I choose discernment" in the comments. At this stage, many experience a profound questioning of time. Past regrets may lose emotional charge, and future anxieties may feel strangely distant. This is because the code reorients consciousness toward the present moment, where true influence exists. The shock is realizing how rarely humans actually inhabit now. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that manifestation is not about controlling outcomes but aligning with the current signal. When you act from presence, effort decreases and precision increases. You may notice that solutions arise spontaneously when you stop forcing them. This is not magic, it is coherence. Trusting this process requires unlearning urgency and impatience. Nothing meant for you will require panic to obtain. This realization alone dissolves immense stress. To anchor yourself more fully into present moment awareness, type "I am here now" in the comments. As the transmission deepens into its third arc, the Arcturian Council directs attention to the subtle ways fear has been normalized within human consciousness. Fear was never meant to be a constant background signal. It was designed as a momentary alert, not a permanent residence. Yet entire systems were built to keep it humming quietly beneath daily life. The Atlantean Code disrupts this normalization by revealing fear as information rather than authority. When fear arises now, it is not a command to stop but an invitation to look closer. You may notice that fears dissolve faster when met with curiosity instead of resistance. This is because awareness collapses illusion. The shock here is recognizing how much energy was spent defending against imagined futures. As that energy returns, vitality increases. You may feel more alive, more present, and less tolerant of unnecessary stress. This is recalibration, not recklessness. The Council reminds you that courage is not the absence of fear but the refusal to let it decide for you. To consciously step out of fear-based response patterns, type "I choose courage" in the comments. The Atlantean Code now activates relational coherence, influencing how you connect with others. Conversations may shift naturally toward honesty, or they may fall away entirely. You are learning to recognize resonance rather than obligation. This can feel shocking because many relationships were maintained through habit, guilt, or expectation rather than true alignment. As coherence increases, superficial connections loosen. This is not abandonment, it is refinement. The Council emphasizes compassion during this phase, especially toward yourself. You are not required to explain your growth to those who cannot feel it. Silence is often kinder than justification. At the same time, deeply aligned connections may strengthen rapidly, feeling timeless and effortless. These are not new bonds but remembered ones. Trust what feels spacious rather than constricting. Relationship is becoming a mirror of inner truth rather than a distraction from it. To honor this relational recalibration, type "I honor resonance" in the comments. A key component of the Atlantean Code involves restoring trust in your internal signals. For generations, humans were conditioned to outsource knowing to authorities, systems, and external validation. This weakened intuitive muscles through disuse. Now, those muscles are reactivating. You may experience sudden clarity about decisions you previously overanalyzed. This is not impulsivity, it is integration of intellect and intuition. The Council advises gentle experimentation, act on small intuitive nudges and observe outcomes. Evidence builds confidence. Doubt may still appear, but it no longer dominates. The shock is realizing how accurate your inner guidance has always been. As trust rebuilds, decision-making simplifies, freeing mental energy for creativity and presence. This phase marks a return to self-reliance without isolation. To affirm trust in your inner guidance system, type "I trust my signal" in the comments. As perception refines, you may begin to sense collective emotional currents more clearly. This can feel overwhelming if misunderstood. The Atlantean Code teaches differentiation, the ability to discern what is yours and what is passing through. You are not responsible for carrying the weight of the world. Empathy without boundaries leads to exhaustion. Empathy with clarity leads to service without sacrifice. The Council recommends grounding practices to stabilize during periods of collective intensity. Remember, awareness does not require absorption. You can witness without becoming entangled. This realization restores sovereignty while preserving compassion. The shock lies in understanding that withdrawal can sometimes be an act of love, not avoidance. Choose where you place your attention wisely. To consciously establish emotional sovereignty, type "I am sovereign" in the comments. This segment concludes with an integration directive rather than new information. The Atlantean Code unfolds optimally when pauses are honored. Growth accelerates through rest as much as through insight. You may feel a desire to slow down, simplify, or create space in your schedule. Honor this impulse. Integration is not passive, it is an active recalibration occurring beneath conscious awareness. The Arcturian Council acknowledges the discipline required to remain present during subtle transformation. There is nothing to prove and nowhere else to be. Trust that what is unfolding is sufficient for this moment. The next expansion will emerge naturally from stability, not strain. Carry this frequency gently into your daily life, allowing it to inform choices without dominating them. To seal paragraphs 16 to 20 and stabilize this phase, type "I integrate fully" in the comments. The fourth arc of the transmission opens by addressing a quiet but profound realization now emerging within you. The old reward systems no longer motivate the way they once did. Approval, recognition, and external success may feel hollow or strangely insufficient. This is not apathy, it is maturation of consciousness. The Atlantean Code recalibrates motivation from external reinforcement to internal coherence. You are beginning to sense when an action aligns with your deeper truth, regardless of how it is received. This shift can feel destabilizing because society trains you to measure worth through reaction. The shock here is discovering that fulfillment arises before results, not after. When action is coherent, peace precedes outcome. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that this phase may feel like walking without applause, but it builds unshakable integrity. Integrity generates trust, first with yourself, then with reality itself. To consciously anchor motivation rooted in inner coherence, type "I act from truth" in the comments. As inner coherence strengthens, the Atlantean Code begins to dissolve unconscious patterns of self-sabotage. These patterns often operated invisibly, disguising themselves as logic, caution, or humility. You may suddenly recognize moments where you previously delayed, diminished, or diverted yourself. This recognition is not meant to induce shame, it is evidence of awakening awareness. The Council reminds you that patterns cannot be released until they are seen clearly. Compassion accelerates this process far more than self-criticism. When you notice an old pattern arise, pause instead of reacting. That pause alone weakens its hold. The shock is realizing how automatic these patterns once were, and how optional they are now. Choice re-enters where compulsion once ruled. This restoration of choice is freedom in its most practical form. To affirm your readiness to release self-sabotaging cycles, type, "I choose myself," in the comments. The Atlantean Code also activates creative intelligence, which is not limited to art but includes problem-solving, communication, and innovation. You may feel inspired to approach familiar situations differently or to express ideas you once withheld. Creativity here is not performance, it is alignment expressing itself through form. The Council encourages you to follow creative impulses without immediately seeking purpose or outcome. Creation stabilizes higher frequencies by grounding them into matter. Resistance may appear as perfectionism or doubt, both are echoes of old control mechanisms. Let creation be imperfect and alive. The shock lies in discovering that creativity is restorative, not draining, when it flows from coherence. It replenishes rather than consumes. To consciously welcome this creative activation, type, "I create freely," in the comments. At this phase, the perception of effort begins to change. Tasks that once felt heavy may now feel neutral or even light, while activities misaligned with your truth become increasingly exhausting. This is the Atlantean Code refining energetic efficiency. Energy is no longer wasted on internal conflict. The Council advises paying attention to how your body responds to choices. It is becoming a more accurate instrument of guidance. Fatigue is no longer a badge of honor, it is information. Rest is no longer indulgence, it is maintenance. The shock here is understanding that sustainability is a spiritual principle, not a luxury. When you honor your limits, your capacity expands naturally. To affirm respect for your energetic rhythms, type, "I honor my energy," in the comments. This segment closes by addressing patience, not as endurance, but as trust in timing. The Atlantean Code operates beyond urgency. You may feel a subtle confidence replacing anxiety about progress. This confidence does not come from certainty about outcomes but from alignment with process. The Arcturian Council reminds you that growth unfolds in pulses, not straight lines. Periods of stillness are not stagnation, they are consolidation. Resist the urge to measure transformation constantly. Live it instead. The shock is realizing that nothing essential has been missing, only waiting for coherence to catch up. As this realization settles, pressure eases and presence deepens. To seal paragraphs 21 to 25 and stabilize this phase of the transmission, type, "I trust the timing," in the comments. The fifth arc of the Arcturian transmission emphasizes the awakening of multidimensional awareness within your daily experience. The Atlantean Code is not limited to intellect, emotion, or spiritual feeling. It bridges these aspects with the perception of multiple layers of reality simultaneously. You may begin to notice subtle energies, patterns in human behavior, or repetitive events that previously went unnoticed. This is not coincidence, it is frequency alignment. The shock here may come from realizing that reality has always contained more information than your five senses could process, and now those limitations are loosening. The Council reminds you that these shifts may feel disorienting, as your mind attempts to categorize and label phenomena that transcend conventional logic. It is important to resist forcing comprehension and instead embrace observation with curiosity. Awareness itself is the stabilizing force. Sensory overload may occur as more frequencies become perceptible. Grounding through breath, movement, and nature remains critical. You are learning to navigate existence without relying on linear interpretation. To consciously expand multidimensional perception and accept this new frequency bandwidth, type "I open to all realities" in the comments. During this phase, the Arcturian Council activates the subtle recalibration of your energetic signature, which begins influencing not only your internal state but also the electromagnetic and relational field surrounding you. People may notice subtle shifts in your presence before you do, responding either with resonance or resistance. This is a natural consequence of raising frequency in a world still largely operating at lower vibrations. The shock lies in realizing that your field has tangible effects beyond personal boundaries, and that alignment is both personal and relational simultaneously. You may feel tension, irritation, or friction as the field adjusts. These are markers of growth, not threats. The Council emphasizes patience and observation. Your energy may attract similar frequencies, forming natural networks of alignment that support accelerated evolution. Conversely, dissonant environments may become uncomfortable, triggering instinctual avoidance or reflection. The Atlantean Code facilitates navigation through these adjustments, strengthening sovereignty while maintaining compassion. To consciously harmonize your energetic influence and stabilize resonance, type "I am a frequency of light" in the comments. The transmission now focuses on memory activation. The Atlantean Code contains embedded codes designed to awaken long-forgotten memories of personal and collective origin. You may experience flashes of insight, déjà vu, or spontaneous recollections that feel both foreign and familiar. These are remnants of previous incarnations, ancestral knowledge, and interdimensional experiences returning to conscious awareness. The shock is realizing that your identity is far more expansive than your current life narrative suggests. Memory is not linear, it is encoded in your nervous system, DNA, and energetic matrix. Integration occurs gradually, often appearing as symbolic impressions rather than literal recollections. The Council advises recording insights, dreams, and impressions without immediate interpretation. Understanding emerges over time. This process strengthens intuition, expands awareness, and anchors higher dimensional information into physical reality. To consciously claim these activated memories and allow integration, type "I remember and integrate" in the comments. As your memory activation unfolds, the Arcturian Council emphasizes that discernment becomes critical. Not all memories are fully accurate or intended for immediate action. Some are energetic triggers designed to catalyze growth, while others contain instructions for alignment in your present life. The shock is understanding that even within personal history, selective recall can mislead if interpreted unconsciously. Awareness paired with neutrality is key. Observing without attachment prevents re-traumatization or projection into current circumstances. Emotional release may accompany memory activation, which is a natural recalibration of the nervous system. The Atlantean code encourages gentle observation, presence in the body, and compassionate acknowledgement of what surfaces. You are not required to act immediately. Integration is gradual, like water seeping into soil. To consciously practice neutral observation and facilitate healthy memory activation, type "I witness and release" in the comments. The final paragraph of this segment addresses the convergence of insight, energy, and memory. The Atlantean code harmonizes these elements into a coherent operating system within your consciousness. You may notice your awareness feels expanded yet grounded simultaneously, like standing at the edge of a vast landscape while fully present in your body. The shock is realizing that complexity does not necessitate confusion. Clarity emerges from alignment. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that you are not accumulating knowledge for its own sake but encoding resonance into your being. Everyday life may begin to feel like a laboratory of awakening, where choices, interactions, and observations serve as calibration tools. Patience, presence, and conscious intention remain your stabilizers. This is not a final stage but a continual process of refinement, integration, and activation. To seal paragraphs 26 to 30 and consciously anchor multidimensional coherence, type "I am fully aligned" in the comments. The sixth arc of the transmission directs attention to the recalibration of time perception. The Atlantean code is designed to dissolve linear constraints, revealing that past, present, and future coexist simultaneously within the field of consciousness. This may feel disorienting at first, as events that once seemed sequential now appear layered, interconnected, and even malleable. The shock is realizing that causality is not fixed. Influence can occur from present awareness toward past interpretations and future potentials. You may experience spontaneous insights, déjà vu, or premonitions. These are signals of temporal flexibility. The Arcturian Council emphasizes patience in navigating this phenomenon, as the nervous system adjusts to perceiving multiple timelines without confusion. Linear urgency is replaced by intentional timing, and the pressure to control outcomes diminishes. Integration occurs when observation is prioritized over analysis. Every choice becomes a node where multiple realities converge, amplifying the impact of conscious attention. To consciously anchor temporal fluidity and harmonize with multidimensional timing, type "I align with all time" in the comments. The Arcturian Council now directs focus to the refinement of multidimensional empathy. Unlike emotional contagion, which overwhelms or fragments, this form of empathy allows you to perceive the inner state of others without losing yourself. The Atlantean code reactivates this capacity, which was previously dormant or suppressed. You may notice that subtle cues, energy shifts, or emotional undertones register instantly, even before conscious thought. The shock is discovering that you can feel without being consumed, understand without absorbing, and act with compassion without compromise. Many will initially resist this skill, mistaking intensity for dysfunction, but integration is gradual and natural. Grounding, breath, and intentional boundary practices anchor this heightened sensitivity. The Council emphasizes that this is not a tool for manipulation or control. It is a gift for guidance, support, and aligned action. You may find that relationships shift, as your ability to perceive truth in others clarifies connection and necessity. To consciously activate multidimensional empathy without losing autonomy, type, "I feel and hold my field," in the comments. The transmission now addresses the integration of cosmic memory networks embedded in your DNA. The Atlantean code allows access to ancestral and galactic intelligence, which carries practical wisdom, emotional recalibration, and energetic templates for coherent living. You may experience spontaneous insights, flashes of remembrance, or profound intuitive knowing about events, people, or places you have never encountered. The shock is realizing that your consciousness has always been far greater than the individual human experience, that your life is interwoven with vast networks of intelligence and purpose. The Council emphasizes patience and neutrality when these memories arise. Not all revelations require immediate action or explanation. Integration is a process that stabilizes your nervous system and energetic field. Dream work, journaling, and meditation amplify this alignment, allowing the body-mind to digest multidimensional information safely. The Atlantean code encourages recognition without attachment, embodiment without intellectualization. To consciously integrate cosmic and ancestral memory streams, type, "I am memory and presence," in the comments. At this stage, the Arcturian Council activates the frequency of vibrational authenticity. The Atlantean code allows you to express truth energetically, beyond words, actions, or appearances. This is not about performance or approval, it is about resonance. Your presence alone begins to influence environments, relationships, and even collective consciousness. The shock lies in recognizing the magnitude of this influence. Subtle shifts in alignment can ripple far beyond immediate perception. Old habits of people-pleasing, suppression, or compromise may now feel intolerable. Resistance may arise from your environment or even from your own mind, which clings to comfort zones. The Council emphasizes conscious choice in communication, behavior, and energy projection. Alignment does not require confrontation, it requires presence, clarity, and integrity. Your field becomes both shield and amplifier, guiding you toward coherence naturally. To consciously embody vibrational authenticity and radiate aligned energy, type, "I am pure resonance," in the comments. The final paragraph of this arc introduces the concept of multidimensional integration, where mind, body, emotion, memory, and energy converge into coherent functioning. The Atlantean code now guides this synthesis, collapsing fragmentation that has existed for millennia. You may notice moments of clarity where thought, intuition, and action harmonize effortlessly. The shock is realizing that you have always carried this capacity, but the seal previously dampened expression. The Council emphasizes that integration is a living process, not a destination. Even subtle awareness strengthens coherence across timelines, realities, and dimensions. Physical sensations, energetic fluctuations, and emotional releases are natural indicators of ongoing recalibration. Patience, grounding, and conscious observation anchor this expansion safely. Daily practices that honor the body, nervous system, and environment enhance integration. This stage signals a readiness for higher frequency activation, deeper cosmic alignment, and expanded manifestation capacity. To consciously seal paragraphs 36 to 40 and integrate multidimensional synthesis, type, "I am whole and aligned," in the comments. The eighth arc of the transmission emphasizes the recalibration of your vibrational signature to align with the Atlantean grid, a network of energy lines spanning Earth, connecting star systems, planetary consciousness, and human awareness. The Atlantean code now activates resonance nodes within your DNA and auric field, allowing you to interact consciously with these lines. You may notice heightened perception of environmental shifts, magnetic fluctuations, or subtle energies in natural spaces. The shock is realizing that you are not merely living on Earth. You are a participant in an interconnected system whose vibrational integrity affects and is affected by collective consciousness. The Council stresses that this awareness is not a burden but a profound opportunity for influence and coherence. Intentional grounding, meditation, and conscious breath anchor these frequencies safely. Resistance may arise as old mental constructs try to interpret these experiences in linear terms, but multidimensional perception requires openness. Integration occurs as you learn to perceive, respond, and harmonize without effort. To consciously connect with the Atlantean grid and anchor vibrational integrity, type "I am a node of light" in the comments. The Atlantean code now opens access to multidimensional communication channels. These channels allow perception of guidance from higher dimensional intelligences, star systems, and interwoven consciousness networks. You may notice intuitive nudges, sudden insights, or sensory impressions that seem to originate from beyond your current experience. The shock is realizing that you are not alone and that guidance has always been present. It was simply filtered by limited perception. The Council emphasizes that discernment is critical. Not every impression is directive, but every signal contains information for alignment. These channels are activated when presence, observation, and energetic stability converge. Emotional neutrality, grounding, and journaling enhance clarity and integration. Integration strengthens perception, intuition, and decision-making, providing practical navigation across dimensions and realities. This activation allows the body-mind-spirit system to function with heightened coherence. To consciously engage with multidimensional guidance and activate energetic communication channels, type "I hear and receive" in the comments. The transmission now guides attention to the harmonization of human emotion with higher frequency fields. The Atlantean code elevates emotional intelligence beyond polarity, allowing the body and field to express love, compassion, and resonance without distortion or dependency. You may notice that reactions to stress, conflict, or challenge are transformed. Responses become fluid, grounded, and aligned. The shock is realizing that emotional maturity is no longer optional but energetically necessary for coherent resonance. Past triggers may surface as part of recalibration, and old attachments may dissolve naturally, revealing deeper clarity. The Council emphasizes that this phase is an embodiment of the principle that inner coherence radiates outward, influencing both personal and collective fields. Practices such as meditation, breathwork, and intentional emotional observation accelerate alignment. Integration occurs when emotional awareness is no longer reactive but present, conscious, and coherent. To consciously harmonize your emotional field and integrate higher frequency resonance, type "I am emotionally aligned" in the comments. This segment concludes by activating the final stabilization of multidimensional embodiment. The Atlantean code now allows simultaneous coherence across physical, emotional, mental, and energetic layers. You may notice clarity in thought, precision in action, and subtle shifts in your energy signature that reflect integrated alignment. The shock is recognizing that embodiment is not something to achieve, it is always present, waiting for recognition and activation. The Council emphasizes that integration is a continuous process, and the nervous system, DNA, and auric field are active participants in this recalibration. Grounding, rest, conscious observation, and presence remain essential. You are now capable of perceiving, influencing, and participating in multidimensional reality while maintaining sovereignty and clarity. This phase prepares you for even deeper activation layers, including cosmic alignment, temporal flexibility, and Atlantean memory coding. To consciously seal paragraphs 41 to 45 and integrate multidimensional embodiment fully, type "I am whole, alive, and integrated" in the comments. The final arc begins with a second and deliberate shock, because complacency is no longer compatible with the frequency you are now holding. The Arcturian Council states this clearly: neutrality is no longer passive, it is participatory. The Atlantean Code has elevated your awareness to a point where unconscious choice is no longer possible. You may feel an internal pressure to live with greater honesty, not only in thought but in action. The shock comes when you realize that silence, avoidance, or delay now carry energetic consequences. This is not punishment, it is precision. Your field is coherent enough that distortion registers immediately. You may feel discomfort when acting out of alignment, and ease when acting from truth. This is your internal guidance system fully online. The Council reminds you that this phase can feel intense, but intensity is simply concentration of energy. Breathe into it. You are not being rushed, you are being clarified. To consciously accept responsibility for aligned participation, type "I choose conscious action" in the comments. As the code stabilizes, the illusion of powerlessness collapses completely. This is one of the most destabilizing and liberating realizations for the human psyche. You were conditioned to believe that influence was rare, external, or reserved for a select few. The Atlantean Code dismantles this narrative by revealing influence as a natural property of coherence. The shock is realizing that your presence alone alters outcomes, environments, and emotional fields. This does not mean control, it means resonance. The Council emphasizes humility here, not self-diminishment, but accurate self-perception. Power expressed unconsciously becomes chaos, power expressed consciously becomes harmony. You are learning to move through the world without force, without apology, and without collapse. This phase may bring moments of awe, grief for lost time, or deep gratitude. All are valid. To anchor responsible influence and grounded power, type "I hold power with integrity" in the comments. The Atlantean Code now completes its integration by synchronizing personal awakening with collective stabilization. You may notice an increased awareness of global events, emotional waves, or societal shifts without being overwhelmed by them. This is collective perception without entanglement. The shock lies in realizing that awakening is not escape, it is engagement from a higher vantage point. The Council emphasizes that not everyone is meant to lead, teach, or speak publicly. Some are stabilizers, anchors, or silent harmonizers. Your role will feel obvious when you stop comparing. Comparison dissolves coherence. Presence restores it. You may feel called to simplify your life, refine your routines, or withdraw from unnecessary noise. This is not disengagement, it is optimization. To consciously align your awakening with collective coherence, type "I serve through alignment" in the comments. As the transmission nears completion, the Arcturian Council addresses fear of regression, the concern that this clarity might fade. This fear is understandable but unfounded. What has been activated cannot be undone, it can only be ignored or embodied. The Atlantean Code does not demand perfection, only honesty. You will still experience emotion, challenge, and uncertainty, but you will navigate them with awareness rather than confusion. The shock is realizing that awakening does not remove humanity, it deepens it. You are not leaving the world behind, you are entering it fully awake. When confusion arises, return to the body. When doubt appears, return to breath. When fear surfaces, return to presence. These are not techniques, they are access points. To affirm trust in sustained integration, type "I remain aware" in the comments. This is the closing seal, not a lock, but a stabilization point. The Arcturian Council confirms that the Atlantean Code is now active within your field at a level appropriate for your nervous system and current life path. Nothing more is required. Nothing has been missed. The shock here is subtle but profound. There is no final revelation coming to save you, because remembrance has already begun. Integration will continue quietly, shaping choices, perceptions, and relationships over time. Walk gently. Speak honestly. Rest when needed. Observe without judgment. You are no longer waiting for permission, validation, or confirmation. You are the confirmation. This message ends, but the frequency does not. To seal the entire transmission and consciously anchor the Atlantean Code into your lived experience, type "I am activated" in the comments.